Oh, yes. That problem. Okay, we live in here. Let's go. Let's go. I need to change this real quick. All right, let's go live, people. What it do, what it do, what it do, what it do. It's doing what it's doing because it does what it does. I pray that you guys are all well. I don't know why I need to do that all the time. That's good. Listen, y'all, I wanted to come live real quick and just talk about the Black History Service that is happening tomorrow. Okay, there's a Black History Service that We Church is doing tomorrow, and I really want y'all to be a part of it. Okay, I really want y'all to be a part of it. I want you guys to be in the know what's going on, and kind of give you some instruction as to how to prepare for what is happening tomorrow. Okay, so, oh. Yeah, because we're gonna need it. Listen, in case y'all didn't know, February is Black History Month. Isn't that a great thing? Hey, what's going on, Ash? What's going on? What's going on, Rosemarie? Good to see you. I got your message. Yeah, I'm excited. Let me tell y'all something. Okay, this is a new venture for us. Okay, this is not a normal service. Clearly, because it says Black History on it. Okay. What up, my boy? Cleveland in the building. So I wanted to discuss a few things. Number one, how to prepare. Number two, what to look forward to. And then number three, is kind of a little bit off topic, but it's preparing. It's expecting the unexpected. So let me just talk real quick, and then I'm gonna get out of your guys' way because it's Saturday, right? Here's the thing. We are partnering with our brothers and sisters. I call them my cousins at Vineyard Church. We are having two churches combined for one service. Okay. Now, you've probably heard things like unity service or things like that. It is that, but we're coming together for the sake of celebrating what God has done in and through the African American community and especially the Black church. Okay. But something happened this week that has kind of, in a sense, shifted. Not shifted. I shouldn't use that word. I don't want to make y'all feel like we're not having a Black History Service because we are. God is going to be doing some things in what I would consider an unorthodox manner for We Church. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you all that we have planned, but I will tell you who we have invited, and that's God. And it's a dangerous thing when you invite God into a space. And this is going to be for somebody out there who may or may not, this ain't got nothing to do with service, what I'm getting ready to tell you now, okay? This is for anybody, okay? Shelby, what up? This is for anybody, and I'm being so serious. This is for anybody who calls themselves a follower of God. You cannot invite God into anything that you do and think that he won't interrupt something. God is a God who interrupts. He interrupts. This is what God does. He interrupts things. Okay. And when I say that, I don't want you to get frustrated. Okay. Because what typically happens is this in our lives. When we ask God to come in and bless something, we're asking him to take our plans and our agenda and then say yes to it, like an approval. And then we just run on and do what we're doing. But that's not how God enters spaces. Okay. When we say God, we invite you in, that is different than God bless this service. Yes, we want him to bless the service, but we want him to be present. And anytime God is present, when he shows up, he responds to what's in the room. And here's the key. Here's the key. This is how you need to know what's going on in your life. If you invite God into a situation, if you invite God into a space, let's say you're having a difficult time and you're like, God, I need you to be here with me. Okay. Now we invite God in because we have a need, right? We say, God, I need you to heal my heart. God, I need you to come fix this situation. God, yada, yada. Here's the issue. When God enters the scene, we only think about us in that scene, right? So let's say somebody broke our heart, right? We say, God, I need you to help mend my heart. Yes, God will mend the heart, but understand that there's more that's happening in your life than just your heart being broken. There are other people involved. There are other things that are attached to that. And what God ends up doing is he responds not just to the prayer, but he responds to the crisis and all those involved. So what ends up happening is when God comes in, while he may heal your heart, he may do it in an unorthodox way because he's thinking about the bigger picture. So how he heals your heart, or how he handles the situation, or how he provides the money normally will come at it in a much different way than what we were praying, right? We think about certain things like, Dr. Bell, what's up? What's up? What's up? We think about certain things like, God, I need this, so can you do this, right? We're already thinking of what we want him to do. The issue is that we are so narrow in our sight that when we invite him to do a thing and we want him to do it a certain way, that it only involves how we want it done and how it's going to affect us. But God is so much bigger than that. So what God ends up doing is he begins to orchestrate a bigger plan that now not only helps you, but it also starts affecting people who are associated with that. Or he starts to handle the situation in a way that propels you into the future and not just helps your current crisis. I say all that to say this. God has coordinated for two churches to be in the same room. So while We Church has an agenda, I feel you, Holy Spirit. I'm getting off of here. While We Church has an agenda, BJ, what up, man? While We Church has an agenda, God has orchestrated for two churches to be there. And what ends up happening now is that when we invite God into that space, it's not just that he would bless what we're doing, but that he would do all that needs to be done in that room. And we don't even recognize half of the stuff that's going on with our neighbors next to us. So what ends up happening is we invite him into the room and God begins to respond to different situations and pleas and petitions that are happening in that room that may be silent prayers, they may be sudden hidden struggles, and God begins to address those things. Well, here's my question. If you had an agenda, right? If you had a thing, if you're going towards a thing, right, and you have a specific aim, but you invite God in, and then there's a bunch of people who have other problems going on in that room, and God begins to respond to those issues. What happens when God responding to those issues doesn't necessarily line up with your petition? Let me give you a perfect example of that. The woman with the issue of blood, in the scriptures, we constantly talk about that, but the woman with the issue of blood was interrupting another agenda. When you read the whole story, there were two things happening. There was a man whose daughter was dying, and then there was a woman who had an issue of blood. And Jesus was on his way to do a thing, and the woman of issue of blood stops this process of Jesus getting to another place. Now watch how God handles that. God then, the way God orchestrated that is that there's two stories in one, watch me, both walk away with victory, but there was one God, which means that Jesus had enough power and virtue that he was able to have virtue go out of the hem of his garment, but was still able to go and resurrect a young girl. In this story, what ends up happening is one part gets interrupted, but the result still happens, right? So the man is like, I need you to come heal my daughter. Jesus now gets interrupted by the woman with the issue of blood, and then the girl dies. So the initial plan was to keep the girl from dying and heal her. But notice how somebody came and interrupted, and now when the person came and interrupted, the girl died. Now here's the key. The result was the girl was living and she was healthy and she was good. Yeah. Come on, BJ. The girl was healthy and she was good. That was the ultimate goal. Whether she was sick or dead, it didn't matter. The goal was we wanted her to be healthy. The woman with the issue of blood, she wanted to be healed. And the way the Lord did it was he was able to pause for the moment, watch this, and be able to address the issue that was interrupting the miracle moment, and then still be able to go and handle the overall issue. Now, the man who was coming for a healing, but what he ended up getting was a resurrection. So in the same scenario, there were multiple petitions and prayers, and Jesus was able to handle all of them, but they were all handled unorthodox. So in other words, tomorrow, do not be surprised if there are some petitions of issues happening on one side, and that there's some agendas and some desires on another side. And I don't want you to think that if God interrupts the service tomorrow, that he's not going to handle what the goal is. And the goal is that he will be glorified. The goal is that revival will break out. The goal is that we will be able to celebrate what he's done through the African-American community, and that there will be reconciliation in the room. Don't think that God can't do something in an unorthodox environment. Don't think because there's two different worlds coming together that God can't handle all of the petitions in the room. That's the bottom line, okay? So I say all that to say this as I get ready to get off. What we're getting ready to do tomorrow is invite him in. That's what we're doing. Our plans are laid before him. God, this is what we want to honor you and worship you with. And this is the desired outcome. But I also know that there's some petitions and requests that are entering that room tomorrow night at 5 o'clock. And when those petitions and requests come in, I want him to be able, I want him to address everything that's in the room. Here's what happens when you have that many petitions and requests and desires for God in the room. That is where revival breaks out. That's where revival breaks out. Just being completely honest with you. Revival breaks out when desperation comes in the room. Revival breaks out when desperation comes in the room. So tomorrow, be ready to be desperate. I'm just telling anybody right now. If you're coming tomorrow, I don't want you to think about the Black History services that you've gone to in the past. I don't want you to think about the 330 programs. Y'all know we used to go to these 330 programs. I don't want you to be like none of that. I don't want you to come in expecting what you've seen before. Because I'm telling you, if anybody in here can attest to it, I'm telling you right now, the prayer team knows it, the worship team knows it, the administration team knows it. Something special is happening in that room tomorrow. And we don't know what it is. We don't know what it is. And I don't want nobody to get thrown by it, but I do want you to come be a part of it. I want you to come be a part of it. I don't care about attendance. Listen, we have 2 churches coming in the room. Numbers is not the issue. But this is what I do know. I do know that I've heard enough from people that I love of things that they're going through, things that they're dealing with, that I know for a fact, if they can bring that to the room, God's going to address it. If God can heal a woman with the issue of blood and resurrect a girl, all in the same story, so much is so that when most people read the scripture, they only mention one story. They feel like they're 2 separate events, and they're not. They're all one event. God is able to handle so much in one room. He's able to do it. So I want you to know, if you have something, Sam, what's going on? If you have something going on in your life, if there's something that you've been petitioning God for, if there's something that you desire of God, if there's something that you have been trying to get from God, and I'm telling you, you're trying to break cycles in your family, you're trying to break addictions off your life, I don't want you to think that this is not the service to come. Oh, it's a Black History service. So that's not, no, hear me. That the title of the service does not disqualify, watch this, does not disqualify your petition of prayer. I want you to come in. Thank you. Amen. We're desperate for you, God. I'm telling you, it's happening. It's happening right now. It's happening. What will happen in that room will, in my opinion, be indescribable. You won't be able to walk away saying, this is what it was. We won't be able to say it. There won't be words for that. Okay. It is going to be a magnificent event, and I think it's going to be incredible. If you are not in the Houston area, I implore you to tune in around 6:30ish for the live stream. What we do is we live stream the service immediately after the service is over. We don't do it during, just in case we may need to pause the live stream or keep something from being streamed because God may be doing something in that room. So with that being said, I believe that there's going to be something worth watching tomorrow. Okay. I also believe, watch this, for any of you people who are in Houston, that this, out of all the services that we churches had, this is the one to come to. Okay. This is the one to come to. We've had 4, I think, so far with a couple of worship nights. We've had about 4 with a couple of worship nights. This is the service to come to. Hear what I'm saying. This is the service to come to with your issues, with your petitions, with your prayers. I want you in the building. And anybody who's watching from Vineyard, come. This is the time to come. This is the time to come. This is the time to come. Okay. And I wanted to hop on and say that today because I wanted everybody to be aware that God is cooking something. I was talking to, I forget who I was talking to, but we were having this conversation about our mothers and our families and them cooking and stuff like that. And we were just talking about how hard it is to walk into your mama's house and not want to eat, right? Because of the aroma. You just, as soon as you hit the door, boom, the aroma of what was cooking was in there. And you weren't even sure exactly what she was cooking, but you just knew as soon as you hit the door that there was something going on in the kitchen. When I'm telling you, when you hit the door at We Church tomorrow, the aroma of miracles, the aroma of miracles is going to be happening as soon as you come in. You're not going to know what God is doing, but you're going to smell that something is happening in that kitchen in heaven. God is going to hit you with the aroma of miracles. And I'm telling you, it's going to get your appetite. That was the thing we were talking about, was how we would walk to the front door not even hungry. And as soon as we smelled what was cooking, all of a sudden a hunger started to develop. And if you sat in the room long enough and smelled the aroma long enough, you would get such a hunger in you that you didn't even care what was coming out of there. All you knew is that whatever was coming out of that Whatever was coming out of that kitchen was going to be worth sitting down at the table and eating with. And we have all of our cousins. God has orchestrated it. All churches coming together, people coming together, pastors coming together. And I'm telling you, there's an aroma. And I'm telling you, this is what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that I know my mama didn't start cooking once we got there. My mama had started cooking the day before we got there. I'm getting on here to tell you right now, you may have been thinking about missing the family meal tomorrow, but I'm telling you what God is cooking right now. He really started last night. God really started cooking last night, but there's an aroma that is building, and I'm telling you. So here's the last thing, and I'm out of here. In order to position yourself for what is getting ready to happen, there needs to be. You can't come in tomorrow with a consumer mindset. Okay, and I'm just being honest. Westernized church has kind of built us for this. Westernized church has taught us to come in to get. That is not what we're doing. We're not coming in to get tomorrow. Okay, we're not coming in to necessarily get. I don't want you to think that we're not just coming to consume and then just walk away. There is a part for you that is required for you, and this is the word that God spoke, was the word patience last night. Patience. What do I mean? That means you need to position your heart in a place of waiting. So that means that there needs the anticipation that we have for a certain thing is built off of our ability to be patient and wait. When the Lord was telling the people in the upper room, he goes, I need you to go into the city and wait. So the outpouring of the Holy Spirit came, watch this, not because the people were perfect, but because they were positioned. And because they were positioned in patience and prayer, the Holy Spirit was able to descend and fall and then fill them all with the Spirit. This is what I believe the Lord is going to be doing with us. But the position and the posture that we have has got to be one of waiting and expectation and patience. In other words, when we're getting ready for what God is getting ready to do, I don't want you to feel a rush in your spirit. That's the American way, is that we rush. Everything has to happen now. Everything has to happen quickly. Everything has to yada, yada. That's not the spirit in which we come in, because we'll come in and we'll be like, all right, God, hurry up. Move, God, move. That's not what we're doing. We're coming in with the posture. I'm serious. We're going to smell what God is cooking, but we got to come and sit, and we got to be able to sit and be patient and wait for the Spirit to do what he's going to do. And if we come in with that posture, you're going to see God do something magnificent. Okay. I promise you, God's going to do something magnificent. And here's how serious we are. We don't even have we kids tomorrow. We want the kids in the room for the move. We want them to experience what we believe is going to be life-changing ministry from heaven on earth. Okay? But come in with the posture and the position. Start tonight. Start getting your mind ready tonight. Position yourself tonight. Just ask the Lord to send peace upon your spirit, that he would calm down this rushing thing. Because I'm telling you, you will walk into a service, and for some of you, it's going to be your second service. Okay, you're gonna be walking into your second, some of you even possibly third service. And so at the end of the day, your spirit's gonna want to just rush by these moments. You can't. There's a very strong possibility that God will leave us in a position of tarrying tomorrow. We haven't talked about that. I ain't taught on that yet, but we're gonna talk about the rewards of the tarry. How important and how incredible it is to tarry in the presence of God. There are some things that you've been dealing with for decades that's not going to drop off in one service. There's going to be a realignment of your posture going out throughout the week next week. That's going to keep you in the position of tarry, where you're consistently waiting. Do you know that revival? This is so crucial. Revival is not so much about the feeling that you have during revival, but it's far more about the fruit that you get from revival. And a lot of fruit has to come from a season of sowing. So what do I mean? That means that when you're sitting in a posture of patience and you're tarrying in the presence of God, he's going to begin to deal with some things, and he's going to do it day after day after day. And what you're going to notice is that you're going to start seeing the fruit of revival in your life. You're going to start seeing deliverance at some weird times. You're going to start seeing some breakthrough at some weird times, some yokes being destroyed at some weird times. But it's going to start, watch this, when we position ourselves. If tomorrow is anything like what we experienced yesterday at rehearsal, we better get ready. Listen, we have, and that's, Simone knows, Shelby knows, they were there. We had a time on Friday, but what I'm telling you is this: what's happening Sunday is the beginning of something new. That's what it is, the beginning of something new. All right. It's the beginning of something new. Posture yourself, prepare yourself, and we're getting ready to have a time. So here's the key. 5015 Grove West Boulevard in Stafford, Texas, 77407. Here we go. Well, I won't do that. 77407. We're going to be there. I think most of the team is going to be there at 2:30. Service starts at 5, but this is what I've warned everybody. I said, I do not believe that we're going to make it out of prayer safely. And we start prayer around 4:30. Prayer team, help me if I'm wrong. But I believe we start around 4:15ish, 4:20, 4:30. I do not believe we're going to make it out of prayer. I just don't. I don't believe it. I think something is going to, I feel it now. I feel like if you come at 5, I think you're going to walk into something. I invited someone from the store. Hope she can make it. I hope she can too. Invite people who need breakthrough. Invite people who've had issues for 30 and 40 years. Invite marriages that are on the brink of divorce. Invite those people. I don't know what's getting ready to happen, but when we walk, I feel like if you show up between 4:50 and 5 o'clock, you're going to walk into something. You're not going to walk in and say, hey, hello. I think you're going to walk into a fire that is fully ablaze. So just kind of prepare yourself. I'm telling people, be there like 4:30. I agree about the prayer. Yeah. Rosemary even just said, Mama Rose just said it. I encourage you to be there. I encourage you to be there. Okay. Around 4:30. All right. If you can make it there, and then we'll see what God does. We'll see whatever he's cooking, it's going to be worth sitting down for. Okay. All right. That was it. I wanted to tell you guys that 5015 Grove West Boulevard in Stafford, Texas, 77407. Service starts at 5 o'clock, but God probably going to start around 4:45, 4:30. I'm just kind of calling that shot. So just kind of prepare yourself for that. All right. I can't wait to see you guys. I'm super excited. I'm praying that you can make it. And if you cannot, I pray that the fire of God falls upon you, even watching the replay. But I think it's happening, y'all. I think it's happening. Oh my God, it's happening. Oh my God, it's happening. All right. I love you guys. I will talk to you later.